Hey everybody, welcome back to Jeff Bowl Central. I'm doing a retro roundup gaming segment for you today. Taking a trip back to the year 2003. Which was so long ago that I don't even remember who I was or what's going on.
I'm frightened and I don't know what to do. I'm confused and I want to go home.
I was a lad of 17 or 18 years old in 2003. This is a game that I didn't play as much as I wanted to back then. So I've played it again recently and it's fun. A little outdated, but hey, that's what retro gaming is all about, is it not? This is the fourth game in the Dark Forces series, or the Jedi Knight series, depending on how you want to look at that. And this series evolved a lot over the years. It became a lot of different kinds of things. At first, it was just a regular old first-person shooter set in Star Wars. Then it became a Jedi game and a first-person shooter. Then it became a hybrid third-person, first-person action thing. By this game, it was a lot more open. It actually, to tell you the truth, the reason I think that this is the final game in the series, it didn't sell as well, maybe because it kind of lost a little of its own individuality. It kind of lost a little bit of the original flair, the original flavor that the first Dark Forces, a couple of Dark Forces games had. For instance, the series' main protagonist, Kyle Katarn, is kind of just shoveled to the side here with Jedi Master Luke Skywalker and his Jedi Academy, which no longer exists in any form except in the past expanded universe stuff, the old shoveled off expanded universe. You get a new protagonist in this game when you get to design yourself. You get to basically design his or her lightsaber color, his or her lightsaber design to a limited extent. This is not EA's Star Wars Jedi series of the past 5 years or so, which has opened this formula up even more. And honestly, this kind of feels like a precursor to that series in a lot of ways. You know, the whole light side, dark side morality system that was such a big deal in the first two, but also third Dark Forces games. It's here. But you know what? I'm using lightning, I'm choking people, I'm using dark side powers, I'm using light side powers. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm coming and going here. And Luke doesn't seem to mind.
Do you understand?
The story is not quite as interesting because it's not quite as relevant. We're just kind of like picking up little scraps about Kyle Katarn at this point. We're playing in this expanded universe, which was the only place to play at the time because, again, Lucas had told all of the fans that there would never be any more Star Wars movies, period. So we had books, we had comics, we had video games, that's what we had. This one is kind of not trying so hard with the story. It's more like this is just the leavings of the universe. This is just kind of the last little bits to pick up. That's how it feels to me. The mechanics are solid because it uses the same game engine that they used in Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, the game that directly preceded this. There's about 15 missions in total, and a few of them you can skip if you want to, but it kind of behooves you not to because there's some light RPG elements where of the time this was considered RPG in that it's basically ability building. All the different force powers and how powerful the force powers are. The other thing that I really always appreciated about this game was the combat, the actual saber fighting, the saber play.
Spent as much time practicing your saber techniques as you do your which you would rival Master Yoda as a swordsman.
The thing about this saber combat is it's actually so good. It's so finely tuned that they developed its own multiplayer suite. Now, I had a lot of fun in the multiplayer suite of Jedi Knight 2. I had that one on PC, whereas by the time this one came out, I don't think my PC could have run it anymore. And so I had my Xbox, and they released a port of this. So I played that, and I didn't really play it much because I rented it from Blockbuster Video. And hey, I was 17, I was 18, however old I was, I had things to do, man. Which is not true. I just had other things to think about, which is not true. I just didn't care. Maybe? I don't know. Whatever.
Oh, whatever.
The multiplayer suite in this game, though, is the same thing. I remember playing the multiplayer on Jedi Knight 2, and it was really engrossing. It was kind of the first multiplayer gaming that I'd ever actually experienced. And it was basically just saber fights. And there was like an etiquette that the community developed, like you had to bow to each other before you entered a saber fight, things like that. It was an interesting experience for me, an eye-opening experience, and it still kind of carries over to a lot of my experience with online gaming in 2025. Still community weirdo etiquettes and things you have to follow and all that stuff, and getting trash talked. It's all relevant. It's all relevant. So I just wanted to share this game with you real quick. The story is not super interesting. The morality system is kind of passive. But it is cool because you get to pick your own character. It is cool because you get to customize your saber to a certain extent. What's not so cool is that Kyle Katarn is kind of shoveled off to the side rather than being the main protagonist, because he's really who you attach to once you got farther enough into the series. But that's it, man. That's what I have to say about ye old Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Academy, Jedi Knight 3, Jedi 5, Jedi Academy for T9. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Maybe I don't deserve it, maybe I do, but I can assure you, I'm not gonna stop pushing. I'm gonna keep trudging up that hill. I'm gonna wave my flag, I'm gonna plant it, and you're gonna be the first to get a video when I make a video, which is pretty often, so lucky.